On this episode of Carolina Connection, we check out the 100 Words Film Festival, and we get to know some amazing artists.
Hello, and thank you for joining us for Carolina Connection. I'm Umaris Osario.
And I'm Jake Elder.
Carolina Connection is a production of the Carolina School of Broadcasting in partnership with Cox Media. Today, we're at the Carolina Aviation Museum, standing right next to the plane that made a miraculous emergency landing on the Hudson River. Jake, I can even imagine how passengers felt on that plane that day.
Me either. It had to be scary. It's no wonder they call it a miracle on the Hudson.
This is an exciting time for the Carolina Aviation Museum as they're celebrating their 25th anniversary and in the planning stages for a new facility.
Today, we start off the show with a story about Charlotte's own Independence Day, better known as MECDEC Day. We will learn how Mecklenburg County gained its independence.
Charlotte, North Carolina, home to the Panthers, the Hornets, the home of the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and to hundreds of thousands of Charlotteans. The Queen City, as it is also known, has its fair share of history, as told by the statues in Independence Square at Trade and Tryon. However, just a few blocks away, a statue is located with one of the greatest stories never told. This is the story of Captain James Jack and the Ride to Revolution. Most people have no clue who Captain James Jack is or what he's famous for.
Nope, can't say I've ever heard of him.
Who? I don't think I've ever heard of him.
Jake, was he on the Hornets?
We went and found the right people to tell you about it.
He is what we call Charlotte's Paul Revere, and a man who delivered the message of freedom and independence to the Continental Congress. A volunteer, someone who thought that life and limb was not worth the price, of individual freedoms. And that's something that we don't, we use the word hero a lot today. It's become a trite word, but James Jack is a hero in American society, American history, the deliverer of independence.
You may find yourself asking, what did he deliver?
The Mecklenburg Declaration of Independence, we call MECDEC, was the first Declaration of Independence from Great Britain signed in the United States, a year before Thomas Jefferson's slightly more famous one.
It almost sounds kind of like Paul Revere, don't you think? However, there are significant differences.
But of course, Paul Revere in reality rides for 25 minutes and is arrested by the British. But he's Paul Revere. James Jack rides 600 miles one way to deliver these treasonable resolves. I mean, the British governor at the time wrote, "The resolves of the Committee of Mecklenburg surpass all the horrid and treasonable publications that the inflammatory spirits of this continent have yet produced." So this is how the British felt about him. So if the British had caught him, they would have hanged him on the spot. He'd been tried for treason. His family, everyone he knows would have been arrested and tried for treason. But of course, Paul Revere gets all the glory and credit because he's from Boston. Whereas Jack is living in this isolated farm community in the middle of nowhere. But the reality is, Charlotte is the focus of the American Revolution in the South for 2 years. Every major engagement that occurs is within 100 miles of Charlotte. Cowpens, Kings Mountain, Guilford Courthouse, Camden, Charlotte itself. So all of these things happen around here. And the war is essentially won and lost at the Battle of Guilford Courthouse in Greensboro. It's at that point that Cornwallis has to retreat to the ocean to get to a deep water port, Yorktown, game over. But no one, this is sort of forgotten because these are obscure places. Guilford Courthouse it's not even a town, it's a settlement in the woods. Charlotte is a town of 25 log buildings around a farmhouse. It has no printing press.
So how does the Queen City celebrate Captain James Jack and the Mecklenburg Declaration of Independence?
So May 20th, which is May 20th, 1775, which is the date of the MECDEC, the Mecklenburg Declaration of Independence, was a prominent civic holiday, we know, around 1800, because papers of the time would record celebrations that we held out in the lawn in the town common in Mecklenburg County. And they have a series of toasts, and they'd write down the toasts. And they'd have 35 or so toasts, and they would say, to the president, to the new president, Thomas Jefferson, to the Secretary of the Navy, to the Patriots of May 20th, 1775, the first to declare independence.
What can you expect from the MECDEC Day celebration? You can expect reenactments, the mayor, soldiers marching through, the May 20th Society chairman, and the march out of Uptown. So the next time you ride by a statue, look a little harder. you may never know what kind of history lies in front of you. I'm Brian Auten, reporting for Carolina Connection.
Wow, I never would have thought we had our own Ride to Revolution story in our own backyard.
For more information on MECDEC Day, visit www.mecdec.org/declaration.